What's good, people? The farms on PandaSwap have now launched. And you can see that we're in our first week and we are getting insane APYs. Look at this, 500,000%, 8 million%, 16 million% on Bamboo BNB. The single asset pools have absurdly high APYs, and I have reason to believe that these are actually incorrect. But on the whole, you're just seeing insane numbers here. Now remember that your farm is 95% locked until March of next year. So if you want the true APY values, then you want to divide these numbers by 20. So if we take this Dogecoin, Doge BNB pool, for example, 3 million divided by 20 is 150,000% of unlocked farm. Okay, now bear in mind, this isn't going to last. The rewards drop off as the weeks go by. A couple of things you really need to be aware of before going into all of this. I really recommend joining the Bao.Finance Discord. This is where you get all of the latest information and you can get support from the team and the community. I'll put a link to that in the description. I also strongly recommend that you take a look at this fees and penalties section on the PandaSwap docs. Some of these things could catch you by surprise. So for example, you got a 0.75% deposit fee, you lose that straight up. Of course, you more than make it back in farm. But what you really need to watch out for are these withdrawal penalties. So you see that if you withdraw within under an hour, you get slashed 50%. 25% for a day, 12% for 3 days, all pretty harsh. So you're incentivized to stake for, I would say, 4 weeks. And this is going to influence your choice, your selection of which pools to stake in. So a couple of interesting things here. We have these single asset pools. We have the wrapped BNB and cake pools. This means you can just stake these coins and start farming Panda with them. So if you were going to hold these anyway and you didn't want to become a liquidity provider and risk impermanent loss, these might be the pools for you. Now, if you add liquidity to one of these kind of glowing pools here, these Panda pools, they have the benefit of having a very high pool weight. You can see the pool weights here on this key info page. This is another one to take a good look at. So we can see that the Panda pools have the highest weights, highest numbers. Now, that means that these pools get the most rewards. But if everyone else joins these pools too, and the pools become crowded, if there's a lot of liquidity in these pools, and your percentage share of the pool is smaller, then you might not actually get as much rewards as, say, going into a smaller weighted pool where you own the majority percentage share. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best option. For instance, you might not like the coin that you have to provide liquidity for a smaller pool, or someone else is going to jump in the pool and reduce your share significantly. Well, we're very early on in the project, right? Literally just launched. So the price of Panda is going to be very volatile. And as people start to farm more and more Panda, they might start selling their Panda off. And that might, reduce the value of your staked liquidity. So you do have to be careful of that. Weigh up the risks and farm in these pools if you think is right for you. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a spike in the project due to launch hype in the very short term, and then sort of see the price steadily decrease as people start to farm more and more and cash out their earnings. Don't take my word on that. Now, these things can be very hard to predict. I wouldn't necessarily take my word on that one. Some more interesting things to look at here. We have the bamboo bar. So this is where you stake your Panda. This is a bit like X-Sushi from Sushi Swap. You stake your sushi at the sushi bar, or in this case, you stake your Panda at the bamboo bar. As long as your Panda is staked, you are basically collecting fees, and when you unstake, you'll end up with more Panda than you initially staked. Now, Rhino, this is really interesting. So what you can do is you can swap your Panda 1-to-1 for Rhino using this contract. And the interesting thing about Rhino is that it's like SafeMoon, if you've heard of it. It has deflationary mechanisms. And if you have your Panda essentially staked for Rhino, for every Rhino transaction, some of it is distributed to the Rhino holders. Some of it is burned and some of it is locked as permanent liquidity for the Rhino BNB pair. This makes Rhino, in the team's own words, the highest capture point of the ecosystem in earning various governance token rewards. You are punished for basically doing anything with Rhino. Any Rhino transaction incurs a 12% fee. So this means that you are highly discouraged from short-term trading of Rhino. You really want to hold or stake this over the longer term. I do recommend that you read up on Rhino. While it could potentially offer the highest rewards, it is also very risky. So please do your own research. This helpful diagram might explain what's going on a little bit better, but frankly I think Rhino is almost complicated enough to warrant a short video in and of itself. What does this then mean for you? What should you do? Well, that's very difficult to say because it depends a lot on your personal risk tolerance, your time preference, and the changing market conditions. I do recommend that you pick a pool or pools that you are comfortable with farming for at least 4 weeks because of the harsh penalty fees. And if that's not for you, then you should definitely stay away from the project. So another crucial point that you need to bear in mind here is that while the APYs are extremely high right now, only 5% of it is unlocked, and the 95% that is locked until March next year. From March next year onwards, you will receive a daily payout of your locked farm. And that is over a course of 5 years, right? And that's probably not going to be appealing to a lot of people. You might be like, 5 years? You know, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in 5 years' time. Me personally, I don't mind that much because I think the 5% of unlocked farm rewards are already high enough to make this worthwhile, and that the 95% locked farm is kind of a nice bonus if the project is successful long term. That's the way I look at it personally. Another thing you really need to remember is that you need to have some BNB for gas, because this is Binance Smart Chain. Okay, don't make the mistake of staking all of your BNB, hitting the max button, and not being able to make any further transactions. If you do, I'm sure somebody could help you out in the Bao Discord if you ask nicely. By the way, if you're not familiar with any of this stuff, the way to start farming is really easy. You just go to the PandaSwap swap site, then hit the pool button. You add liquidity to your pool of choice, and then supply liquidity. Once that's done, you go to the right farm on the farms page, and then you will both approve and then stake your liquidity. We can see that Bao.Man and the team are real innovators in this space, which really is exciting to see. You know, this is not your common or garden animal or farm shitcoin swap project. We're seeing actual innovation and creativity here. That's been my overview of the PandaSwap launch. I hope you liked it. Remember to follow me on Twitter for exclusive updates. Hit like and subscribe and the bell icon, all that good stuff. I'll catch you later, folks, and remember, we are all going to make it. See ya.